Hey guys, okay, so in this week's video, we're going to talk about the demolition condition. More specifically, I'm talking about the condition that appears on approvals when you're doing pre-1947 demolition work in the traditional building character overlay. The condition, which in super simple terms requires the building design professional to certify that the demolition work has been carried out in accordance with the approved plans. Now this condition's been around for, I'm going to guess, maybe a year, maybe 2 years now, but I'm constantly still surprised with the number of building design professionals that reach out to me and they're like, what's this? Like, I've never seen this condition before. I'm like, guys, have you been hiding under a rock? Like, it's been around for a while. So yeah, I thought, hey, why don't I use this week's video to spread a little bit more awareness about this condition so that people can be mentally prepared for it and they know what to do when it lands on their desk. Because if this condition slips through the crack, it will cause you all sorts of pain. Like, it is not a fun position to be in. I've seen people be there and it ain't fun. So firstly, let's start off with what's the purpose of this condition. Now I've got to give council credit here, like props for creative thinking. They had a problem and they came up with a brilliant way from their perspective of solving this issue. So what was the issue? Well, quite simply, people, more specifically builders, were going a little cray-cray on site when it came to demolition work. They were doing some practical work on site that meant more demolition work was occurring than what council was aware of or had previously approved. So it was typically happening in two different scenarios, or still is happening out there in two different scenarios. Firstly, the builder would be on site, they'd uncover something and they'd be like, oh, look, it's showing signs of rot or dilapidation. Let's rip it out and replace it while we're here. Or another scenario, they'd be looking and going, oh, hold on a sec, it's actually going to cost us a lot more money to restore that. Let's just rip it out and replace it, get a more cost-effective outcome here for the client. Like, I totally understand why builders would be doing that stuff. But unfortunately, council was basically like, hold on a sec, guys, we didn't approve this work. This should have been raised at the beginning. We've got an issue here. And council was smart enough to realise that once the cladding had gone back on and the house was closed up, they had no real way of working out what had happened, no way of policing it, ensuring compliance, all of that sort of stuff. It was a bit of a nightmare. So anyway, what they did is they turned around and went, let's put a condition in the approvals that requires the building design professional to pop out on site during the construction phase and just check that everything's above board and everything's going down the path it's supposed to be. Add a little more accountability to the process, let's just say. So now that you understand the purpose of the condition, there is probably three key things that I want to raise with you guys or mention in this week's video. First and foremost, you need to establish, ideally before you even start the design process, who is going to certify this works. Now, everyone sits there and they go, it's pretty obvious, isn't it? The person who drew the plans. Not always. There is quite a few people out there, I'm not going to say quite a few people, there is a few people out there that feel a little bit funny about this condition. They don't like the idea of having to certify these works in this sort of manner or this way. Totally get that, totally respect that. So yeah, I've seen a few scenarios where people have turned around and go, you know what, I'm not prepared to sign off. Another scenario or another example I've got for you is I had a situation, I think it was like 6 or 12 months ago, where an architect turned around and went, guys, got a problem. I'm not going to be in the country when you're doing this renovation work. Like, I'm going to be overseas. So I kind of can't certify and sign off on it. So yeah, they're two examples of something or a situation where you may not be able to get the original designers or architects' input to sign off on it. Certification, you get what I'm trying to say here. So the key thing to note is that council does not require it to be the original person. So if you look at the wording of the condition, it just basically says any architect or any building designer with the right qualification, etc., etc. And we have checked that with them and they've gone, yep, we don't care who it is as long as it's one of those professions. And I do stress those professions because on one job in particular, we went back and went, so could it be the town planner? Could it be the structural engineer? Like, could we get another industry professional involved here to open up our options? And council turned around and they said, nah, we want it to be the building designer or the architect. And I get it, because at the end of the day, building designers and architects, they can read plans a lot better than I can. So they're going to be in the best position to analyse what's happened on site, etc., etc. So yeah, first thing to work out is who's actually going to do it. And the sooner you work that out, the better. Next thing, who's going to pay for it? Like, is it going to be the builder? Is it going to be the homeowner? Or is it going to be the magic fairy man? Like, I don't know. Who's actually going to cover the cost? And when I say the cost, you got to pay for that person to come out on site, walk around, investigate what's happened, take all their photos, their happy snaps, go back to the office, do up the report, put their neck on the line from a professional perspective, etc., etc. Like, you've got to pay money for that. You can't expect people to just turn up and do that for free. So yeah, who's going to foot the bill for that? And then the final thing is, when's it going to happen? Like, how much notice do you give that person? You need to avoid a situation or make sure you're not in a situation where the builder phones the person and goes, oh, so yeah, cladding's off, everything's ready to go, we're whacking up the walling tomorrow. And you're like, the architect or the building designer's like, I'm booked up for a week. Like, I ain't getting out there for another week, maybe 2 weeks. Yeah, the builder is not going to be happy if they're sitting on site for a week or 2 weeks doing absolutely nothing now, are they? So you kind of need to think ahead, get everyone a bit more coordinated to ensure you're not wasting time, which leads to frustration, etc., etc. Okay, I think that covers off everything I want to talk about today. As I always say, until next time, thanks for watching.
For all you red tape lovers out there, I have one thing to say. Well, no, actually, I've got three. Number one, the advice provided in these videos is general in nature. It's not site-specific. You would be a silly Billy to go and make financial decisions based on this advice without first checking with the town planner. Don't be a silly Billy. Number two, Brisbane town planning is in no way linked to Brisbane City Council. The views expressed in these videos are my own, not council's. So if you don't like them, blame me, not council. Number three, what was my number three? Oh yeah, the views expressed in these videos are accurate at the time of recording. If you're watching this video back 10 years from now, the views may not be so accurate. That's all. Bye.